So, I mean, I kind of had the same attitude, maybe because I was with them for so long that I kind of grew to have the same personality, but most of the time I felt sorry for them, honestly, because I'm like, I don't know which one is good and which one is not, because I don't know, you know. The Marines do that. I don't know if the Marines actually know, but I felt sorry for them, but the Marines were just like, they called all of them Talibans. They gave them the term Hajis, which sometimes I refer to it as well when I was there. Kind of go with the military lingo, even though you don't want to do it, kind of go into it.
Yeah. So in other words, they sort of hated the people they were there to help.
Yeah. Not so much the kids, but the people.
What do you and Jeremy feel like about what's happening in Afghanistan now? I mean, do you keep track of what's going on there? Or?
We do know that there's, we hear the news on and off, there's suicide bombers here and there. And then I feel no attachment, honestly, and it's because the people, and we talk about it, and both of us feel the same thing. It's like, if the people don't ask for change, it's not going to happen. The people have to stand up for themselves. There's so much outside force that we can do that is temporarily, but the permanent change has to come in within their own country. Their own people has to stand up and fight for themselves.
If you had to, say, speak to an Afghan elder, and try and get him to trust the American soldiers who are in front of them instead of the Taliban, I mean, what sort of things might you say to him?
It's going to be difficult to convince an elderly, especially when they believe that they look at us as infidels. Like, you don't believe in the same God that we do, and that's why we feel more closer to them. So trying to convince that individual is difficult. But what I would say is I would talk about the future. I would talk about, what future would you want for your children? Do you want them to have the same exact life as you did? And if you don't want them, then you have to change things. It has to be the new generation that would bring change, because if not, then history would repeat itself. It's going to be over and over again, the same thing. But I would tell him, if he's happy with his life, if he wants everything to happen to his children the way he had it, then keep the same. But if you don't want, then you need to change things.
Do you have anything else you want to say that I've reached sort of the end of the questions?
No, because most of the time we've been talking about it quite a bit, but...
And I know a lot of what you said here was we've already talked about.
We've already talked about it,
but
yes.
yeah, we wanted to get it on film so he could see it, and so Ed could see it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I just now that, like, there are times I sit down, like as we're sitting right now talking, and I'm just like, I'm amazed about how far I've come, and looking back how I left the country, and like we were pretty much nomads. My journey from the time that I left the country to where I am now, married to an American soldier, have a baby. I mean, it's an amazing journey, and I don't think I'll ever want to change anything about it. I don't think I'll ever want to change what happened with me in Afghanistan and what I've seen and not seen, because it's an experience that is a life-changing experience, and not everybody gets to experience it.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's...
Can you sort of put your finger on anything specific that changed it within you as a result of that?
As an individual,
yeah,
it made me stronger. It made me stronger, and every day that I look back, I could have been married, having like 5, 6 kids, and not be able to produce any more kids. Where would I end up? Somewhere trying to take care of the animals, but no, instead I made it this far. I actually, I was step by step in the front line with the troops. I didn't know that was my limit. I had no idea what limit I had that I could push myself. But I had a motivation, I had the drive, I went through it, and I'm proud of what I've done so far. I wish I could do more, but I'm getting older now. I don't think I can do the missions and patrols. Even now I get emails, to go back and do the job, especially for the female translators. But
was there a moment, I mean, you said how frightened you were at first and that you cried and broke down. Was there a period or a specific thing that happened there when you all of a sudden said, oh, I got this? Yeah, all of a sudden you became confident.
Yes. On that night, I was crying, and I was like, I want to go home. I really want to go home. And then I had to stop myself, and because nobody else was there to tell me what's right and what's wrong. I had to kind of think about it all myself. And at that time, I sat down on a cot, looked on the floor in the dark as tears were pouring down my eyes, and I said, if I turn back now, I'm not going to have anything. In order, I've came this far. My family has done so far. Left the country, and I remember how far my mom has come, and she sacrificed her life for us. And me doing this is something that is going to set an example as well. Like, I can do this. When I got picked to go to Hillman, all these other translators gave me a hug. They were buying me things. They were buying me food as if I'm not going to make it alive. And I just had to see it for myself. And on that night, I had to say, no, you know what? I have to do this. I have to see it the next day. I have to see how it is. I have to experience it. And if I can't do it, I can't do it. I still had it in me that I can push myself a little bit more further to get to the next level. So that's what I told myself.
Now, a lot of the pictures I've seen of you from your deployment, you look like you were having the time of your life.
Yes.
Was that true?
On the pictures, I was. It took me a while to get comfortable. And then what really helped me kind of be happy and have what I had a little bit out here on deployment is being a female, being a woman. I had to take my shower every day because that's what I was used to at home. And yes, it is difficult, but there's a bucket and there's a cup. As long as I have those two and there's water, I can do that.
So that's how you showered?
That's how I showered.
Sort of like sponge baths?
Exactly. I had the bucket and I had a little mug, and that was my shower. I would wash my hair by the well first, and then I would fill the bucket with water, and I would bring it and I would wash my body. That was every day during summertime. During winter time, it got cold and we didn't have the luxury of hot water. I would pretty much do sponge baths. I would wash my hair in cold water regardless, but I would take some water, and I had a little kettle that I would use to warm water with. And even then we had to be careful because I could just burst the generator with the kettle. So I would just use sponge bath. So during the winter time we did that. But the female engagement team, I think every 2 months or every month or every 2 months, I don't remember precisely, they used to take us back to Leatherneck where we'd have warm baths and chow, because us females need at least once a month baths. So they kind of figure that out.
Yeah.
So we had the luxury of taking warm baths once a month. So we did that.
That's a luxury.
It was a luxury, believe it or not, it was a luxury.
I think that's all I got. You want to say hello to Ed?
Hello, Ed. I hope I answered most of your questions. Sorry I got mommy brain nowadays. But if you have any questions, of course, Pat can ask me and I can email them to both of you. I hope I helped out. And I'm excited. Super excited about this whole project. Hopefully it's going to be good.
All right. Well, I'll shut this off.